Hey, you chocolate stars, and welcome back to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé The Last Resort. This week is episode 11. It fills my heart with warm and love to know you guys are my Valentine today, because I get to share with you the most romantic fights I've seen. Now, this episode, we start off with the therapist giving some therapy to Julian and Brandon. If you weren't here for the last two episodes, Julia revealed during the hypnotherapy that she cheated on Brandon. Brandon, of course, is having a hard time processing this, so the therapist decides to step in and give them a little therapy. Now, Brandon right off the bat shares that he wishes that she never even shared that with him, that it would have been better if she kept that to herself, and he's not entirely sure if she's selfish that she shared or if he's selfish that he feels that way. And so the therapist dives deeper with them and asks her why did she decide to share that. And I'm not gonna harp on Brandon too much about this because obviously he is hurt, but he does just throw in, oh, it's because she wants to hurt me. And I don't think that's it, but again, I'm not gonna harp on him too much. I understand he's hurting. Julia explains that she shared with him because it was hurting her so much and she wanted to put it out there, and she also wants him to open up more. So Brandon decides to open up more. He says that it is hard for him to open up to people, especially other people, and his one safe space that he had was Julia, and right now it's just a hard time because his safe space he's having to push away because now he doesn't even feel safe with her. Now the therapist recognizes that Brandon is very closed off and doesn't share his feelings very well, so she's happy to see him opening up and shedding a little tear. But she tells them that neither one of them are in the right or in the wrong. Their feelings are very valid and they need to see each other's perspectives and understand that each other's feelings are valid, and that's what empathy is. So she asks them if they can continue on doing this, and Brandon says yes, but of course it's going to take time. And Julia says, well, with time, are you going to end up throwing this in my face later on? Like, how are we going to go do doctor's visits? How are we going to take anything seriously? Like, are you going to forgive me, basically? And the therapist does back her up on that, saying that, yes, if you are going to forgive her, you can't take this and throw it in her face later on. You can't use it as leverage. You can't be in an argument later down in the road and be like, well, you cheated on me. So is he willing to forgive and be able to move past this? But of course, it's kind of hard to have answers right there, right then. So the therapist says that's why they're here. They're going to try to work through it. Now we go over to Jasmine and Sophie, and this is where things start going downhill really fast. Literally everywhere. Everybody starts fighting. So Sophie goes into telling Jasmine that she saw him currently talking to other women, and Jasmine is like, you know what, you need to open up in front of everybody. And to be honest, I think that was horrible advice. I don't think Sophie should have just brought that in front of everybody, because I feel like everything that went down was because of that. What I think she should have done in the long run is pull him to the side and go talk to him. And I feel like she should have did it close enough to the group that if he did have an outburst, they would have seen him just like going off, you know what I mean? But I don't think she should have brought it to the whole group, because it just like went downhill really fast. But yeah, Jasmine in here stirring up the damn pot again, just like she did with Natalie. But Sophie goes on to say not only did she see him texting other women, she also got a text from her friend Kay while she was there that he had an active dating profile. So he had a profile going on like right there, right then. But Sophie and Jasmine walk over to the group, and you can already tell Rob is not happy. I'm sure he knows some shit is about to go down just by the way she walked over. So the way he's standing, he is already defensive. But Sophie just goes into saying that her marriage has been hard with Rob, and she has been trying not to put him on blast how he really treats her, because she doesn't want everybody hating him. But she just goes out and tells them that she's been seeing him talk to other women and that he has a current dating profile right now, and says that he's not taking therapy seriously. It's just like a vacation to him. And now Rob at first was calm. Before we get into this whole thing, this is gonna be a spiral, okay? I've literally analyzed every single little piece of this thing. Usually I watch the episode twice, like the first time just as sitting and enjoying it, and then the second time I watch it and like take notes on everything. This time I watched it like 3 times because all of it it just doesn't make sense. Nothing's lining up. I'm like, somebody's lying here, and I feel like it's both of you guys. So I'm going to explain everything in great detail. So as Sophie is going off saying that he's been cheating, he's not taking therapy seriously, all that, at first very calmly. He's like, where's the receipts? Show me the text, show me the posts, where they're at. He did interrupt at first, so everybody came to Sophie's defense and was like, let her finish, let her say what she has to say. So she continues to say that she didn't want to call him out or put him on blast because she didn't want everybody hating him. And she's mad that he's going around talking to other people, talking crap about her, saying that she's not trying, that she moved out. And, you know, I'm gonna be for real right now, he wasn't really saying anything that wasn't true. He was saying that she moved out and she wasn't really trying. I'm sorry, if you move out of your house, you're married to somebody, you move out of the house for 2 whole years, you can't tell me you're trying. If it was that bad that you had to leave the house for 2 years, it should have been a divorce by now. But he goes on to say, you're not trying, you haven't been trying, you moved out 2 years ago. But this is when she brings up the app again. She's like, I have proof that you have a current dating profile right now and it's active. So he's like, come with the receipts. Show me. 1 second, I got you. And she pulls out her phone. She's like, everybody look at this. And they're all passing her around and they finally get to Rob. And he's like, that profile is like from 2 years ago. Now this is where things start getting all mixy-washy, wishy-washy. So the first time I watched this, I was like, Rob is just a dirtbag. I still feel that way. I'm pretty sure Rob was cheating. Rob been cheating. He doesn't seem that great of a boyfriend at all. I feel like he definitely has one of those personalities where they're very charismatic. They're really cool to hang with. They have great personalities. Like everything they do is really chill. But when they're in a relationship, they're some of the worst people to their partner. Like I don't know how it works, but I feel like Rob is definitely one of those personality types. Like he just needs to stay like in the homie zone basically. But at the same time, I think Sophie at this point, she isn't here to take therapy seriously either. She hasn't been trying. I feel like she came to do this because she knew the relationship was over. So she came to do this season to first and foremost get that bag, honey, which I'm not mad about it. 2, maybe catch a stake in the single life season. And 3, I feel like she wants to paint Rob in a crappy light and paint herself as such a victim before she leaves the show. Now, I'm not saying Sophie wasn't a victim at one point. I'm not saying she didn't have to endure a crappy relationship, but the way things have been going, she left a long time ago. They have not been in a relationship, and I feel like she keeps bringing up old stuff and trying to pin it as current stuff to make him look bad. And she does it here and now. Trust me, I analyzed all the sentences. None of it wasn't making any sense. But we revert back. She says that she got something from her friend Kay, and it was a picture of his current active profile, dating profile, okay? Current active. Jazz shows him the proof, and he says, no, this was from 2 years ago. I can't even get on that anymore. Like, and him saying that right there, he done threw himself under the bus. So you did try to get back on there. You tried to at least. But he said it didn't even work, so he couldn't even get back on it. So he did done F himself. But Sophie turns around and F's herself. Everybody catches on to, oh, you've tried to get on there in the last 2 years? It's been 2 years and you've tried to do it? And now Rob is still very calm when he's talking. So he goes to try to explain himself, and he's like, the only reason I tried to, and he keeps trying to say that like over and over, trying to get out his sentence, but everybody's like, oh, 2 years? Oh, you tried to? Oh. Like Sophie and all the girls are just like going over him.
I haven't even been able to get on that app in like 2 years.
Okay, so that's not.
And the only reason I even tried,
At this point, I feel like this was just such like, it was such a high school thing. Right now, it's the girls and the boys, and the girls are just over talking Rob, and he's trying to explain himself, and he's very calm right now. He's pretty calm. But Rob is finally able to get out that he set up that dating profile, and he tried to, because when she left, she said, go ahead, you're single, go talk to other women, you do your thing. And that he did try for 5 minutes, which, boo, it take longer than 5 minutes to set up a profile, I think. Right? It should, right? Don't even lie. Do not even lie. But he said, no, I tried that 2 years ago. I haven't done it again. But I found it on your phone, Rob. Well, look at it. Here's my phone. Try to take it. No, when you were cheating, Rob. Huh? Wasn't that just now? Didn't you just see this yesterday? What do you mean? He gave you here is the phone. Look through it. And you're like, no, when you were cheating, Rob. What are you talking about? That was yesterday. So when are you talking about, Sophie? Are the things that you're bringing up not even current? This is when I was like, okay, none of it is making any sense. But after she said that, that's when he snaps. He's like, let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. And I think this is where he messed up, because I could see it in Sophie's face. She's like, oh, he snapped. I could use this. And that's what she starts looking around like, do you see what he does to me? This is what I do. And I'm like, I don't even know what to say about this relationship anymore. It's like, I don't want to say it's her fault that she's in the situation that she was in, because she wasn't. Nobody should be treating anybody like that. And sometimes, yes, it's very hard to get out of that situation. But for her, it wasn't very hard to get out of that situation, because she moved out of the house. She was gone. Why did you keep putting yourself back into the situation? You were gone. But after he snapped, she's like, you see what he does? He always does this. He's guilty. He's always yelling at me. So Josh asks her, like, why did you tell him to, like, just go off and talk to other women? And she says that she's never done that. And this was where Rob flips. But he's like, wow, I'm done. And he's just like over it. I do remember at one point, I think at least once, I saw a scene one time. I just can't remember where in the time. I think it was around the time she was living with Kay. But she did tell him to go talk to other women. It was, again, granted, during a fight. But if you're going to say that in a fight, you're probably going to say it in other instances. So I know I've heard her say it before. But he's like, I have the receipts. Out of everybody, I got the receipts. And he comes with that receipt. He has it. It was a text message too. So I mean, you can't back out of that one now.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
But he goes off. He's like, I have the text message. I could show everybody. I have proof. And all the dudes still are on his side. Not like, oh, you're right, you're wrong. But I mean, like, they're over there just trying to calm him down, being like, put the phone down, chill out, calm down. Like, we don't have to do all this right now. And Rob is like, hell to the no. She want to bring up some I'm going to bring up some So I'm about to go and get this receipt and I'm going to show everybody. And during the whole time, again, I knew Sophie was guilty, because she started doing that thing like, oh, why do we gotta do this, guys? So now we have to sit here and wait for him to find some evidence. This is silly, guys. Come on, why are we even doing this? It's like,
he's looking through his whole phone now, and I'm like, I could
probably deleting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I want to leave. I don't even care for this. Like, we're all gonna wait around for Rob to find something to like. We're just waiting, and it's like, come on.
So while everybody is kind of split up right now, the dudes and the girls, all of a sudden Natalie starts going off. She just immediately starts going off. She's like, Josh, you get over here right now, Josh. And he's already like, oh my, stop it, because he already knows it's about to go down with her. But he comes over and she's like, Josh, why are you telling people you can't sleep with me? You're insulting me, Josh. Oh my gosh, would you just stop it? No, you're gaslighting me. Josh, you gaslight me.
Gaslighting doesn't exist. You made it up because you're fucking crazy.
But he's like, you know what? These two people over here are already arguing. I ain't dealing with you right now. I'm about to walk the hell away. So he just leaves her to just complain to herself. But finally, after like, I don't even know how long of scrolling, he finally found the text. And it reads, hi, as of March 2023, me and you are on a break and you have permission to act single and I won't hold it against you. So he's passing the phone around and Sophie is still acting dumb, but she ends up slipping up again. And that's where I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I can't feel bad for Sophie anymore. She was straight up like, oh, when was that? Oh, March of 2023? See, no, we were only taking a break for a couple of months and that profile wasn't during that time. Then what time was it during? Because I thought it was current. So when was that timeline? If you knew when the dating app was from, didn't Kay send it to? What is happening? What is going on? You remember how earlier I was saying this felt so high schoolish? This was basically it, them sitting at the benches just going back and forth, where the girlfriend and the boyfriend are like on two ends of the crowd and people are just like talking in between them to get their relationship all fixed out or broken up or whatever. It was so stupid. But the therapist finally breaks it up, finally, after probably like 20 minutes of this going on. But it is funny because earlier she was with Brandon and Julia and they show a little snippet of her hearing the initial scream that Rob did, which was like forever ago. And she was like, I'm gonna go check on them. And you can see that they're like only like, they're right there. It would have taken her 10 seconds to get over there. But literally like 10-15 minutes later is when she shows up. So I'm guessing the producer saw her coming over to try to stop the situation. And they were like, stop right there, you criminal scum. And just like got her not to stop the, the fight. So they finally allow her entry to come in and stop this stupid fight. So the therapist disperses all the kids, tells them to go back to class. And she's like, all right, I need you guys to sit together and let's figure this out. And Rob's like, I'm not sitting next to her. She just wants to make an enemy out of me. She keeps just bringing up crap that's not even happening and she doesn't even have any proof. And then they go back into the, oh, we were on a break for this amount of time and this amount of time and like, you can't take a break in a marriage. You guys are married. And the therapist even throws that out there, like, you guys can't take a break while you're married. You're married. Like, you either need to break up or you need to work on your marriage. You can't just be like, oh, we're not gonna be married for right now. Just give it a little couple of months. I'll come back. Like, no. And the thing is, she never even came back. But Rob is utterly pissed off and he's like, I'm the only one that came here to try. And honestly, I don't even have hope. I don't even think this was even gonna work out in the first place. And the therapist is like, you know what? Let's just shut this down here right now before you guys say anything mean to each other. I think they're way past that. But she tells them she has another dang activity for them to do. Thankfully, they don't have to do it together. So she's like, let's just go. And while Rob is walking off, he's like, you know, you had a real one.
Right.
But Sophie ends up running off to the bathroom and she's bawling her eyes out and she calls her mom. She can't even talk to her mom. She's just like hyperventilating. And the producers filmed a little too long. They were going on for a little too long. They were like, we're gonna record every single tear that comes out of this script. But while all that's going down, Natalie still is tweaking over Josh. She's with the producers now and I think she's trying to get the hell out of there. And the producers are just trying to rally her back into her pen. And she's like, no, I'm not taking this. He's body shaming me. He gaslights me. He can't gaslight my body. He can't gaslight me. You talk about my body. And Josh is just standing at the van like, oh my gosh.
You crazy bitch.
But she goes into saying that he was using certain words to like shame her. But she ends up calling everybody over to be like, what did you say about me? You gaslight my body. But the thing was, he done already said what he said in front of everybody. Everybody knows what he said. He never said anything about Natalie. The only thing he said was that he doesn't like to be touched while he's sleeping. But the way Josh apologized, he don't want this girl. He never did don't want this girl. He's like, I'm sorry. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. I wasn't body shaming you. I'm sorry you misunderstood what I was saying. But I mean, he's not wrong. But as he's apologizing, she's like, you apologize. I'm sorry. No, you apologize right now. I'm sorry. You're beautiful. You say sorry. But Florian ends up sweeping her away. And honestly, the interaction between Natalie and Florian, maybe they need to be a couple because he holds it down. But when he takes her away, Josh is like, this is why I can't take her anywhere. This is why I'll never take her anywhere. But as Florian is walking Natalie away, she's going off saying that she wasted 3 years of her life and says, I'm a good person.
That was a lie.
I feel if you're a person and you have to say I'm a good person, I don't think you're a good person. That's just a weird thing. Like, who says that? I'm a good person. Do you need a round of applause for that? You should just be a good person. But she's going off being like, I wasted 3 years of my life. He's a liar. He's body shaming. Okay, listen, calm down. I'm going to explain to you what he was trying to say. He wasn't saying anything about you. It was just him. It's nothing about you. He's a liar, an asshole. Like, yeah. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
And
He finally gets his words out and explains it's not you, it's him. He just doesn't like to be touched when he's sleeping. It's not you. And of course, Florian's crazy ass is empathetic with her, saying that he feels for her and he understands her. Of course he would be. But I don't know why Jasmine was doing this, because Jasmine doesn't even like Natalie. She knows she's just crazy. But she goes over there and tries to defend her in a way, and it's like, maybe it's just a language barrier. Maybe she didn't really understand. If she can understand Florian's English, she definitely can understand Josh's. I'm sorry. Like, she got Florian's message and everything clear as day, and it calmed her down. I don't think it's a language barrier. I think it's just crazy. But Florian walks Natalie over to get everything resolved, and he's like, you listen, I'm your lawyer. You don't say anything. You listen, I talk. And she agrees. She was like, I will zip my mouth. I will listen to you. And Josh again goes into explain what he's been explaining, that he just doesn't like to be touched in bed. And she's immediately like, you liar. Florian's like, what the fuck? Did you not just hear me? But Josh finally gets to just explain what he's been trying to explain. And he's like, I'm sorry, you're beautiful. Like, I apologize. It's not you, it's me. And finally, Natalie understands, so Florian gets them all to hug, and that was a horrible idea, because again, her crazy slips through, and she knees him in the balls. And she got him the first time, and goes in for a second one.
Insubordinate and churlish.
But Florian has to freaking pull on her leash again and get her out of there. And he walks her over to the tables and he's like, you have to be normal. You have to be normal. But he asks the most silliest question and he's like, do you love him? And of course, she's like, I do. And gets into her whole romantic thing. Like, you just tried to knee that guy in the balls. What are you talking about? But this is why I was saying they need to be together, because she is immediately calmed down. She's like, I'm grateful for him. They just need to run off into the sunset or something, because they're both a ball of crazy. Now they're about to start their group therapy, but Sophie is still in the bathroom, so Jasmine ends up going in there and stealing her away. She was on the phone with her mom, but Jasmine's like, I'm taking your daughter, she needs to eat, we gotta go. But the therapist tells them all to line up, preferably next to their partner. Women stand in the front, men in the back, and they're going to do this primal energetic release to release stress and tension. And she wants them to go ahead and basically yell it all out. Not yell at each other, but to just into the sky. And Ari, of course, is like, oh, I don't want to do the screaming. We've been screaming all day. Oh, and I forgot to say, when Sophie and Rob were going off earlier, Ari was straight just trying to put herself into the situation still, and was like, yeah, Penny does this to me. I understand your pain. I've had to go through this so much. Oh my God, Penny. I can't take any more of her. I wish she would leave. I can't take it anymore. But she gets them to get into their breathing exercises, and they're doing this like karate looking type swing type move. And so the guys start dicking around, and Gino's in the back pretending to chewy chop Benny. Which, speaking of Benny, did you guys see that he was in the Super Bowl in the halftime show? Like, dang, okay. But while they're doing their airbender stuff, the therapist is like, all right, now it's time to release. Go ahead and yell. And Ari looks like a lost child and just runs off. She doesn't even say anything. She just looks around and just like trots off the screen, and everybody's looking around like, what the heck, we were about to release and you done blue balled us. Even Benny is like, did I do something wrong? Like, I don't remember doing anything. I've just been here. What did I do? But the producers end up following her, and she's like, the breathing is stressing me out. I can't breathe anymore. But everybody is like, well, I can't say everybody. Mostly Julia says that she is just seeking attention, but everybody kind of agrees with that. They're just like, yeah, can we just continue on with the activity? But Benny's like, it's just best to leave her alone. In my experience, just leave her be. Let's keep going. But Ari decides to quote unquote join the morons, which is definitely the pot calling the kettle black. But she gets over there, gets back in her spot, and when she's running by, Benny genuinely is like, hey, are you okay? And Ari ignores him. You've been wanting all this loving and affection and attention, and any time Benny tries to show it to her, she doesn't like reciprocate or take it or nothing. So it's like, I wouldn't give you anything either. But the therapist is like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? And Ari downhill denial spiral. Is like, no, I'm not okay. All of this is very triggering because Benny has cheated on me and abused me and yeah. And just like going in about Benny and says how everybody is defending Sophie with the whole Rob thing, but nobody's taking her side. Nobody's defending her. And everybody's rewarded for their bad behavior and their narcissism. And then just straight up like takes a shot at freaking Julia out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, everybody's rewarded by their bad behavior and narcissism. Especially you, Julia. You just seek men's attention. That's all you want is a man's attention. And everybody's like, wait, whoa. Where did that even come from? And she even is like, I know you see it, Brandon. Like, girl, why are you just taking random shots out here? She was flip-flopping. She was crying in the beginning saying Benny was causing her all kinds of trauma, and then turns around and is like, you're a man whore. You're a whore for the men's. Like, just starts going off on Julia. Complete straight face, no tears in the eyes. And then keeps going off on her, being like, you were defending Rob that whole time. And Julia's like, I wasn't even there. What are you talking about? I was over there with Brandon during the therapy. And she was like, yeah, you were there. You were defending him. I saw you.
Bitch, where?
And it's like, girl, saw her where? She was in therapy, but she was not there. What are you talking about? But the therapist is like, please, y'all, you children, please calm down. Jesus, before you get that red card, I'm about to call your parents. Like, chill the hell out. This is getting out of hand. And Ari starts breaking down again. She's like, I can't do conflict. I'm always in conflict for the last 5 years. Benny has just put me in conflict. And it's like, girl, you don't like conflict, but you just called Julia out for being a whore and saying she did some stuff that she didn't even, what do you,
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
This is probably why I didn't watch the earlier seasons, because she was probably pissing me off and that shit too. God damn. But the therapist is done with her too. She's like, you need a break. Just go away. And Benny, he's upset. He's like, I was genuinely trying to do this therapy, which, come on, Benny, you ain't gotta lie. But I think it was mostly him saying that he wanted to experience this type of therapy, or basically just go through the motions and see how it is. I don't think he's genuinely there to fix his marriage. So the therapist has to start the breathing thing all over again, but they all get back into it, probably more than ever, because at this point, Benny and Natalie are full on dancing. The only people that aren't really into it are like Rob and Sophie. They're done. They're like, get me the hell out of here. Up until the yelling part. And Rob, oh yeah, he definitely got some issues. I think the two people that got the most out of this was Brandon and Julia. They seemed to actually be getting into the rhythm and the breathing, and when the scream came out, they were like feeling it. They even had like a kind of a smile on their face after. Like, I think this really did some good for them. And honestly, out of all the couples here, I think those two are the only one that are like genuinely getting something out of this. Maybe mostly Julia, but then at the same time, Brandon also did get his like compromise of going to see a doctor. I don't know how good that is now with the whole cheating. I don't know, but out of all the couples, they seem to be the most seriously progressed. But the therapist tells them, all right, it's time to pack up and go. And yes, they do actually make them pack up their tents. And as they all get back to the resort, everybody's taking their shower, getting all nice and cleaned up. And Jasmine and Gino are in their room and they're just going over everything that happened. But she gets down to the nitty gritty and she starts talking about the hypnotherapy, saying that she could feel his body language and sense that what he was upset over was genuinely something that he was sorry for. But then when he goes on to share what he was sorry for, she could tell that's not what he was actually going to say. So she's like, can you really share with me what you were feeling bad about? And Gino agrees to do it, but he starts crying and that's the end. They cut it off right there. It's not looking very good. I think Gino was scared. I think he's crying because he's like, I'm probably gonna die tonight. Oh my goodness. Next week looks pretty crazy too. And Darcy is finally coming. I'm honestly, this is what I've been waiting for.
I want to have an open marriage and I found a person.
Can we call him?
Okay, I'm so nervous. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Take off your shirt.
Stacey, everything is okay?
Darcy's here.
What?
Yeah,
She flew in because we need deep therapy between the three of us.
They look the same.
Yeah, well.
Give me a hug. How you doing?
Yeah, well, we're here to work on our issues, so.
Darcy asked this Florian before. Who is more important, Darcy or Stacy?
I mean, he should obviously.
But he couldn't pick up one.
Stacy's a little bit Debbie Downer sometimes. You know what? You know, I'm gonna go home. I wanna go.
Stay.
Florian, let me go.
I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to you guys, my DooDees, and thank you guys so much for joining me on this little date. Watching Mare just fall apart, it's the most romantic thing. Sorry I don't have any gifts for you, I am a broco, but I will bring you the gift of more videos if you just hit that like and subscribe. I will be here next week. Well, whether you do or not, I'll most likely be here, but it would be very cool if you hit that like and subscribe. But as always, thank you guys for coming and watching. It's always appreciated. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.